We are live. Thank you for tuning in to the Foraging Truth radio podcast. Here we are with Chuck Grove and a friend of his, Lindsay, and we're going to have a great conversation here. We're going to be talking about a couple things, and so I just want to thank you all for joining us. Make sure you smash that like button and share and subscribe so that you can continue to be tuned in to this podcast. And we look forward to having a great conversation tonight. How about you, Chuck?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Lindsay?
Doing good.
All right.
Thank you.
That's all that matters.
Thank you, Lindsay, for being on the show tonight. We look forward to talking with you, and let's get going.
So, Seth, do you have anything that you want to say, or do you want me to start it off, or what's going on?
I do. We have a fantastic sponsor tonight. The sponsor tonight is Yellow Dragon Fruit. Yellow Dragon Fruit. I picked these up at Costco, and I thought, okay, I've always wanted to try dragon fruit, and they've got something like this at Walmart.
Yeah.
But the Walmart stuff was purple or pink or something. This was yellow. I thought, okay, that's different. Yeah, look at that. So
Definitely different.
I thought, I'm going to buy these. And I cut it open, and it's white inside with all these black seeds. So I told my wife, I'm gonna try this, and I read like you're supposed to eat the inside, not the shell, like an avocado.
Yeah.
So I take a scoop and I take a bite, and I'm like, man, this is pretty good. And so she takes a little nibble, and then she ends up eating the rest of it.
Aww.
Isn't that what it's about?
It's so good.
We find it, bring it home, and there it is, and then okay. Well,
It tastes like kiwi and coconut had a baby. And as far as I'm concerned, that's a win.
that is a win.
So,
That's a win.
there we go.
I think we need to go buy some
Yeah,
of
we
those.
do.
We definitely do. So, I think you froze.
Yeah.
Did you freeze?
I am not frozen.
No, I
I'm
see
still
moving.
moving.
Okay, yeah, you definitely
Thank
are.
you.
I thought you were frozen there for a second. So, I'd
Yeah.
like to go ahead and just begin this by saying a lot of people look up to guys that have done the military thing and the job, and I have to let out that I do have some fears in my life, and there's some fears that I should not have. Being Christian, God tells us not to fear. He tells us not to fear 366 times in the Bible. Do not fear. In some aspect or other, he tells you do not to fear 366 times. So God knew that there was going to be a leap year in there, and he told you one time for every day that year and an additional for a leap year. And that's the power that God has. So I should not fear at all. At all. But now I've been to combat zones, and and a lot of people told me they didn't know how I did that, but I was basically just doing something that I wanted to do. And as a child, I feared a lot. I feared the dark. I feared death. I started reading the labels on the back of model glue and stuff like that, and it says, "Do not inhale this. You could die," and all that stuff. And I ended up stopped. I didn't even put models together anymore because of that. I remember that. So I was very fearful as a child. But the man that I looked up to was the strongest man that I've ever known, and he passed away from cancer. And that caused a fear inside of me that if I ever heard the C word at a doctor, I would probably freeze up and just like incapacitated, That is like one of my biggest fears. And lately I've actually taken some steps in my own life to take some of those things out of my life that could possibly cause that. But Lindsay, who is sitting next to me, she has been more powerful and more strategic and stronger of a person than I probably could have been in her situation. She was diagnosed with breast cancer. What type of cancer was it, Lindsay?
And invasive ductal carcinoma, stage 3, with micrometastasis.
Okay, so that is on the serious level. I do not know what you're.
Well, stage 4 is the worst that
Okay.
it could be, and I'm stage 3 with a few lymph nodes involved.
Okay.
that it did spread to, but that's all the further it went, and I'm thankful for that.
Okay, and as far as your treatments have gone so far, where are you standing right now, so you can let everybody kind of know.
Well, I was diagnosed December 30th and went through, well, that was of last year, December 30th of 2021.
21.
Yes,
The
2021.
year before. Okay.
Yes.
So
And I had chemo and radiation, also surgery of a single mastectomy. And I may need to do more oral chemo and hopefully soon go through reconstruction.
okay. And what was the last doctor's appointment? Did you have a positive appointment, or was it so long as a baseline, or we haven't gone that far yet?
Well, I have a scan coming up to tell if the radiation had taken care of the lymph nodes that are inoperable.
Okay.
Everything else was removed, but there is a lymph node in my chest wall and around the neck area that can't be removed. So the radiation hopefully got that. As soon as everything calms down, all of the inflammation, they can then do a scan to hopefully see no sign of the disease.
Okay, so then we can possibly get an update here in the near future.
Yes.
For everybody that's tuning in.
Yes.
So that's amazing. That in itself, that is actually a positive prognosis. Now let me bring up somebody else that I know. I'm not going to say any names, but she was a lady that I knew at SCI Somerset and then SCI Little Highlands, and she was higher up in the hierarchy. She had got word that she got the worst possible word you could think of. That doesn't mean that God can't move with her, but it was
Mm-hmm.
go and live your life. And to me, that's a scary prognosis. It's very scary. So, things could be worse. They can always be worse when you're on this earth. This earth is basically this earth is God's creation, but it's also the prince of the air, and the prince of the air is Satan, and we can see that no matter what we look at today. New movies, people that are higher up in like Hollywood and all these places, these higher up people, that they're pretty much showing us all that they're following the prince of the air. So I mean, this
Mm-hmm.
world has been overtaken by someone that it does not belong to. And I believe that, God will set that straight, and that's part of his kingdom. But with Lindsay, I just feel this like she's being more of a trooper than I would be. And people,
like you said about worry, there's definitely worry. Thank you.
no,
I
she's
mean,
like everything that I've seen from her, she's been such a trooper, and it's just it's, sometimes I think people look up to the wrong people because, I could take being shot at, but I couldn't take like the battles within. It's not the outside battle, it's the inside battle. So it's all about the role that you're
Right.
filling at that moment, and she's way stronger than I would be. That's all I've got to say with that, really. Um, but on top of that, Lindsay's been my friend for a very long time. She's also a follower of Foraging Truth on YouTube, Facebook.
Well, that's excellent.
Yes, so she's been following us. She's been watching all the videos. You can see some comments on Facebook and some likes. She's been with us through the beginning into what we're doing now. And if you would like to help Lindsay through this battle, I mean, her insurance is not covering everything. And let's just face it today,
Oh, they never do.
big pharma is not for us at all. Now, they will provide some things, and we understand that too, but big pharma is definitely not for the common man or the common woman nowadays. So I think if you, our viewer of Foraging Truth, would like to give something towards Lindsay to help her through this situation, it doesn't have to be a lot. Every little tiny bit that you are giving is going directly to her, not to Foraging Truth, not to any subsidiary. This is a time where you can take, and people talk about tithing and God's money and everything, and we're going to get more into that down the road. But if you take that little bit, like the woman with only a few pennies, and not the rich man with the abundance that can just give and give and give, but the older lady that was in the Bible that said, "This is all I have," Christ said that is the bigger gift. That is a bigger gift. It doesn't have to be a big
It,
gift.
it has to do with a magnitude of sacrifice.
Yeah.
So if you have $1 billion and you give 100, that's almost nothing.
Yes.
If you have $1,000 and you give 100, that that's 10%. If you have $100 and you give $100, you've given everything.
Yeah.
And so it's just about it's a multiplier. So if you had $1 billion and you gave $950 million, okay, now that's saying something because you gave almost everything you had.
Yes.
And I think that's probably what was going on there, was that the rich man, you know, maybe he gave something, but he didn't give very much in comparison to what he could have.
And the fantastic part about this is that Lindsay did not know we were going to be doing this.
No,
So
didn't.
we are going to be, we're going to be, I'm going to be helping her to figure out which one, which kind of link we're going to put in the description. But the biggest thing is that we give, and we give generously, because nothing on this earth is ours. It's all God's. And we have to remember that.
Yeah, and to get to, the Bible says in the New Testament, we're talking not Old Testament law where there's tithes and you're supposed to give exactly 10%, and and then other things beyond that. It's that God loves a cheerful giver. I believe it's Paul that says
Yes.
that whatever you're giving, be cheerful in it. If you're worried and fearful when giving, you have the wrong heart, and maybe you shouldn't be giving that at that time. Maybe it should be used for something else, or maybe just your heart's in the wrong place and you still should be giving, but you're just not in the right place. You got to work that out. And I would suggest speaking to, meeting with someone in your church, whether it's an elder, a deacon, a pastor, something, to help get your heart in the right place if you are giving but worried about giving, or you're not giving because you're worried about giving. That's something to sort out so that you can be in the right place to give wherever God's calling you to give.
And to also go a little bit deeper into that, I believe in those same passages that we're talking, and where most of the churches get the 10% rule is, this is the only time that God said to test me in. And we are not supposed to test God in anything. But God said if you're a cheerful giver, that it should come back around.
It definitely says to be a cheerful giver. I don't know anything about the coming back around, but that's something that we ought to look into, and we should do an episode on that,
Definitely.
on giving and being a cheerful giver, and how does that bless the giver, and how does that bless the person who's being given to. That's a fantastic idea. We got to do
We have
that.
to do that video, yes, because I actually have that written down, and I don't have it with me right now because my Bible has moved positions because of some Christmas ornaments that are next to me. But me and you will definitely do that. I mean, I think that would be an amazing thing, especially when that does come out. That God said to test me in these, to test me in this. He never said to
Hmm.
test me in anything. But we'll do that video later on. But the biggest thing is
Yeah.
that Lindsay did not know we were going to do this. We will set up the link. We will get the link put in the description. She is a Foraging Truth truther. We are going to help her out, and that's what we're going to be doing. And now that I will be not making the announcement I was about to make yet, but I will be making a big announcement to Foraging Truth soon, and it will be on this podcast, that something big is coming down for Foraging Truth. Something very big. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's very big. And Lindsay has been my friend for a very long time. And if you decide to give and help Lindsay out, make sure you email me at this email address on the screen. Let me know that you have done so. You don't have to specify a dollar amount. There's nothing else involved. I just want to know how many truthers are going to come out and help a fellow truther that has been involved with Foraging Truth since its beginning. So, with that being said, I have nothing else. Seth, do you want to say anything to Lindsay while I have her right here?
Lindsay, I'm glad you came on the show, and we've certainly enjoyed having a conversation here. I think it would be great to have a progress update down the road. Certainly have you back on and have some conversation. Like to know more about that. And I'm always blessed to be able to do this with Chuck. So just a couple ways that everyone can work with us to help spread the word is to like, share, and subscribe this. It's on YouTube. Elsewhere, you know what to do. And Chuck has something else to say right here.
Lindsay, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you think about Foraging Truth? Since you've been watching, has it progressed, or like the progression of it, or the videos? Can you name a video that you that has spoke to you, or?
Oh, I mean, I love all of them, and I'm always asking extra questions. Hey, where can I find this around here? Or Chuck, where can I find this? Or I read that this is great. Where'd you find this at?
Have you tried the chaga or the turkey tail yet?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
That turkey tail. And what was that other thing you had me try? The mushroom in the tea?
That would have been either chaga or turkey tail.
Yeah.
Or the mud water that we actually tried.
And
we will get back into the mud water in a later video.
And there was another dried mushroom you had me try too.
That was Hen of the Woods.
Yes.
Yes. Well, we actually have made tea from Hen of the Woods and tried that at my house. Yes.
Lindsay, thank you for coming on the show. And I just want to say I'd love to hear updates as far as how things are going. And, we'll have you back on again soon. I want to tell all you Foraging Truthers out there, if you'd like to help support the channel, you can certainly like, share, and subscribe, and let everybody that know that there's a lot more to this world than just the world itself, that there's a creator in this creation. And we'd love to be able to, have other guests on. If there's someone out there that, has a great story to tell, please reach out to us at foragingtruth.com. And we have some merchandise in the link down in the description. You can check out our stuff on Teespring. We've got some shirts and hoodies and things like that. Everybody have a great day. And Chuck, take it away.
And always keep foraging, guys.